So next all
Sri Lord Shiva Bhagavati Sri Ma Durga Bhagavati Sri Hare Rama Bhagavati Om Shri Hare 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 Om Shri Hare Hare Shri Hare Krishna Bhagavati Shri Siddhartha Bhagavati Shri Lord Christ Bhagavati Om Shri Hare 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 Om Shri Hare Hare Shri Lord Shiva Bhagavati Shri Ma Durga Bhagavati Shri Hare Rama Bhagavati Om Shri Hare Hare Om Shri Hare Hare Shri Hare Krishna Bhagavati Shri Siddhartha Bhagavati Shri Lord Christ Bhagavati Om Shri Hare 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 Om Shri Hare Hare Shri Ramana Bhagavati Shri Punjaji Bhagavati Shri Mujiji Bhagavati Om Shri Hare 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 Om Shri Hare Hare Shri Lord Shiva Bhagavati Om Shri Hare Hare Om Shri Hare Hare into being. This joyous world, ray of the divine, all of this we are, all this we all this we fragrance of joy. Open sky, who's like this well, clouds of despair. Now my eyes bewitching no more shall I die. more shall bind us. No more shall bind us. No more shall bind us. We are free. My love, leave aside this fruitless thinking, and come lay down in the silence of being. My love, leave aside this fruitless thinking, and come lay down in the silence of being. There's nothing you have to do, for all this is one with you. Your heart is already true. My love, leave aside this fruitless thinking, and come lay down in the silence of being. My love, leave aside this fruitless thinking, and come lay down in the silence of being. There's nothing you have to do, for all this is one with you. Your heart is already true. My love, leave aside this fruitless thinking, and come lay down in the silence of being. My love, leave aside this fruitless thinking, and come lay down in the silence of being. There's nothing you have to do, for all this is one with you. Your heart is already true. My love, leave aside this foolish thinking, and come lay down in the silence of being. My love, leave aside this foolish thinking, and come lay
even connected? No. There's another one with the US.
That's good. Very good. Namaste everyone. A very warm welcome to Satsang today. Sadhguru Srimud. So today being Monday is the open Satsang. Everyone is allowed to ask questions. And it's going to be, we're going to be on a break during Guruji's retreat. So for a while you won't get to ask questions. So if you have a question, see that it's a real question. What I want to say is that try not to put any conditions to anything at all. Actually, but it is the root of all suffering are these conditions. You see, conditioning actually is derived from conditions, isn't it? When we put a condition, what are we putting a condition to? It's important to see this because this actually is the end of suffering. You see, what are we putting? What can we put conditions to? Okay. Contemplate this for a bit. Our conditions can apply to what? Say, you can say. The idea of me, yes. And are put only to those things which are relevant or meaningful to me. So it all ultimately comes back to this me, isn't it? Anything is like it should be like this. You see, is we say I am this way. You see, I am only this way. I am a straight talker. You see, I am like this. I am very honest. You see, I am a good person. You see, my life should be this way. I want to have a simple life. My family should be this way. You see, so all of this is related to this me. So we primarily, and to speak more Advaitically, we put conditions to our presence, to the presence I am, which is uncontaminated. You see, then we put these pretend conditions, you see, which then give us the cause to suffer. Okay? Because nothing ever goes according to our conditions in the long term, at least. It might give you the seeming illusion in the short term that something is working out according to plan. It doesn't work out in that way because ultimately all of these conditions do get do get dissolved and we come back to pure presence. You see, Atma. So Atma playing as person is Atma believing. Conditions about itself. You see? You see? And then we hold on to our special ones. Everything is okay, but this one or these two, don't touch these. You see, these I'm not willing to give up on. And you see, life pulls at them. Life pulls at them, isn't it? It pulls, pulls, pulls till we open our hands. And we find that as we open our hands, really nothing that we truly needed, because we don't need anything actually, is taken away. Being is just being. Being is not being dependent on anything. You see? You see? So if you look at all aspects of our life, our attachments, our grievances, our conditions, all reliant on this conditioning. But the good news is that although it can seem very vast, there is only one way that we can attach a condition to ourselves. What is the way? What is the way to get conditioned? So let's not try. First, let's see how we get conditioned in the first place. Is the appearance of objects, so beautiful things are appearing or horrendous things are appearing? Is it possible for there to be conditions or conditioning just because of the appearance of things? Possible? We must contemplate. So my feeling is after we come back from the break, I've said this often, I know, so don't laugh at me, okay? I'm not going to spoon feed as much. I feel I want to push you a little further into these things. You see? Hmm? So if we see that I don't take my word for any, is it possible for there to be suffering without? Contemplate this question. And if conditioning is the, how is it that I and you say that things happen, but is the mere appearance of things, objects in this, what is needed? You see, if it was a mere appearance, okay, so I'm giving the appearance, there would be no sense of dropping conditioning, up conditioning. It is just the appearance of things, and conditioning happens. And when things become sublime, you see, but that is not the case. Many circumstances, but are leading deeply troubled lives. You see, and many are smiling. So what makes the difference? Maybe we should have listened to Adam and put it there. Yeah, it's only one. It should be better now. Now there are 3 bars. Just keep it there. Phone. It should get better. Let's see. Please say. Take the mic, please.
Like this one is confusing to me because it's like it seems, well, because I think there's an I, then the condition this, you prefer this, don't like that, blah 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 blah. But then the bit that's really confusing me is like like I kind of know there isn't really an I.
There isn't really an I.
Yeah, not really. So there
Are you
isn't-
sure?
Yeah, like pretty sure.
That there's no I.
Well, no, there's a kind of an artificial I.
There's only the fake I. And in reality, you don't exist.
Well, it's a different one that exists. Like,
Yes, but it's not you.
not me in a certain sense. It's like
Yes, sorry, I'm not interrogating, but it's
no,
important
this
to.
is the bit that's really confusing me. It's like there's no. I think I'm making choices,
Yes.
but I'm just, I as a little self doesn't really exist. So I can't make any choices, even if I'm confused about it, even if I'm having a crappy life.
Yes.
That's the divine having what I perceive to be a crappy life through me.
Yes.
And it's really confusing because there's a sense that I feel a bit like I'm making decisions. I feel like I'm choosing these words.
Yes.
But it seems in reality that I'm not even choosing these words.
Yes.
I can only sort of run the program of being in this particular messed up way at the moment.
Yes.
That's the best I can do, apparently. And there
Yes.
isn't even a me doing
Yes.
it. And my head is totally my head is melted since we went to language. Because it's a kind of thing that's been going on for ages, for years.
Yeah.
Is like, if everything is divine, which I feel sometimes, and it's
Yeah.
the chair is divine, you're divine, I'm divine, everybody's divine, confusion is divine, the whole deal. It's just the one. It's like, well, why even? Like, because it doesn't really matter. Because it's like the divine is choosing different aspects. Some of them are having a great time. Some of them are having a really rubbish time in their own experience. And it almost seems, well, why even bother trying to find out?
Yeah.
Because who wants to find out? And I mean, it's like the divine wants to find out, and he knows, he or she, whatever, the whole thing,
Yes.
knows more in some cases, is completely self-realized, in others is really not self-realized. And that's the kind of game it's playing.
Yes.
And it's, so I know the confusion is part of it, and I don't know where this is going, but it's like, why does the divine need to find out and self-realize?
Yeah.
And it's very good at doing it in some places, some people, and it hasn't achieved much in other people yet.
This is very good. All that you said is very good, because you see that we want knowledge so that we can get clarity. You see? But as we are getting to this knowledge conceptually, we find that it's not helping the confusion. In fact, it's becoming more confusing. Isn't it? Somebody. Huh? Yeah. Therefore, what is the way out of this confusion? Is to see things for ourselves. And what does it mean to see things for ourselves? It means not going with our presumptions and our thoughts, this mental knowledge. And like often I've said in Satsang, that going from the idea I am a person to the idea I am divine or I am God, consciousness, awareness, really help. It's just another idea, isn't it? So you said something very beautiful. You say that you believe that the small I is not the doer. I am not even choosing these words. Now, instead of just keeping it as a belief, you see, which is conceptual, can we not instead check? As the words are being spoken, as the words are being heard, can we find this individual doer or hearer of these words?
In me, anyway, it's like there's a feeling behind the word, finds kind of a popularity somewhere in this setup. And I don't know what the words are going to be.
Yes.
I kind of don't really know how the sentence is going to end.
Yeah.
But it'll probably follow grammatical structures because that stuff is in there.
Yeah.
But we start to speak without really even knowing where we're going,
Exactly.
and there's an impulse behind it.
Yeah.
It's like a little kind of an energy or something
Yeah.
that wants to express.
Yeah. So this energy, would you say that it is appearing within you?
That's a tough one. It's like the body is appearing within some kind of bigger me.
Okay.
Um,
Is
but this one,
okay, just
I'm not so
sorry,
sure.
let's just pause. You say it is obvious that this body is appearing in a bigger me. Now, is this an presumption or is this obvious to you when you look? Because that is the critical difference, you see.
Well, it's more when I look.
Very good.
Because it's kind of hearing, sound,
Very good.
sight, all those senses are fed back. If I look at them from the physical end, but they're fed back into a kind of nothingness
Yeah.
that interprets them and is bigger than it's a bit that's making sense of it all.
Yeah. You in relation to this, that is making sense of it all, that is hearing all of this, that is sensing all of this.
It's really hard to locate it. It's kind of like as I kind of try to follow it, it's kind of like I'm nowhere.
It's kind of like
I'm nowhere.
nowhere,
It's
nowhere.
sort of,
Yes, yes, yes.
I can't find it.
And yet, can you say that I don't exist?
I definitely can't say that. I
You
mean,
cannot say that.
because that question you say, can you stop existing? Definitely not.
Yes.
I'm not able to do that. I don't know how. Well, it just makes no sense. Like.
Yes. Yes. So this sense of existence, when I say these words, sense of existence, does it resonate somewhere?
Well, it's about the only thing I can say with any truth. I mean, it's the only thing I can. But the iPad. True.
Yes.
Right, because it never it's never looks like it does in relation to dream. This is just like dream, but I mean that's the only.
The only is a thing which is true that I am.
Ananta, the sound is very broken up. Don't know if you can hear me. Anil, can you hear me? You've just Ananta had to leave the hangout because the sound wasn't very good. So you've just taken the 10th place. Would you mind going back to YouTube for a bit? Can you hear me, Anil? Maybe not.
Okay, let's see how it is now. Aparna was suggesting we turn the video off, and it reminded me of the use stream days. Many times there was not enough bandwidth, so we just turn the video off. And sometimes even the audio would not go. We just sit in silence. Is it better now? Okay, good, good. So Richard said something very beautiful. He said, I don't know about anything else, any other appearance, and I don't know about later, about death or sleep, but I cannot deny that I exist right now. It is the only truth that I. And in his saying this, I was reminded of Maharaj when he said, the only truth that can be spoken is that I am, and ultimately even that is not true. See? And so
It's kind of everything
mm,
on.
mm.
And some. Yeah.
So when you say attention being with it,
I am almost, it rises more of itself because there's less stuff
yes, yes,
and that's, I like nature a lot for that reason. But it's not really that I sought it. It's more like I sought nature
yes,
because I know I feel better in nature and peace,
yes,
and then it kind of arises
yes,
more, and there's a better sense of well-being.
yes, yes. Being, whether there is a sense of well-being or there are terrible feelings, is it touched by it? The sense that I exist, is it subject to the type of feelings which are arising, or is it independent of them?
Well, and I don't pay attention to this all the time by any means.
Yeah, yes.
But it's more like I'm tired,
Yeah,
or this is a tough day.
yeah,
But it's like a shallow part of me is experiencing the tough day.
yeah.
But behind it all,
Good, very good. So if I offer you this inquiry, is a story, you see, or playing as if whatever we say after that, you see, how would you feel about that? Everything that we say after I am is a story.
well, it is a story. But but it's always a but, isn't it? And I'm only just trying to tease it out a bit to try and
Yes,
get
yes,
clarity,
of
right?
course.
It's all good when it's good. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm having a blissful time. This is great. Okay, I'm having a really tough time.
Yeah.
And suffering a bit of it.
Yes.
And I'm not more at the other
Yes.
end where it's like, I'm suffering, but hey, this is great. I'm
Very
not feeling the hey, this is great bit.
Very good.
And of course, the desire is,
So
I'd like to be in the best.
this is what brings us to the question that we started with. Is it some who could be seemingly having very terrible appearances in their life, and yet they are not seeming to suffer. And some who are having very nice external environment phenomena, and yet seem to be suffering a lot more. You see? So is or independent of the seeming state.
It kind of on what you identify as yourself.
Very
Identifying with the absolute or the divine or whatever, handle anything. And if you're more immersed in the choosing this, that this bit isn't good, I'd prefer warmer tea or whatever, you know, blah blah blah. Well, I suppose then it's, yeah, this is the bit that's confusing, you know, because like, you know, you think, you know, I can choose that, but in its own time, and this is really, it's quite head-wrecking, it appears that, you know, it's everything is deciding not to get it for a while.
Yeah.
And then eventually we'll get it, kind of no matter what effort I do.
So let's look at this for a minute and come back to our inquiry. You say that it doesn't seem like there's any choice here whether to even look at this or not. It will. You see? So are both of you real? Can there be a divine? And if there is divine and Richard, what is Richard's role if he can't even choose?
Well, that's the bit that's head-wrecking, because there isn't a Richard.
Yeah, let's allow the head to get wrecked and let's look at this directly than trying to think about it, you see?
Yes,
because we say that, do I even have this choice? Because if the divine wants to do that, the divine will. Now, is it true that there is the divine and there is another entity which is this powerless, choiceless one? Or is it just something that we are visualizing? Can we look at this?
Well, I'm visual, whatever about we, like, because I don't know what other sort of multiple ones. I'm visualizing a one that is confused and knows he's not really a separate thing, but it hasn't got that one sorted. And then there's a one that's like the divine is playing at being that one. That seems to make sense, but I definitely haven't got it figured out by any means. And yeah, so there's a lot of confusion.
So if we get rid of the visuals, you see, visual replicas will not help us anymore. You see, and instead just check for what is here. Point where you said the only thing I can say is that I exist. You exist or Richard exists. You see, you said that the only thing I can say truthfully is that I exist, because you contemplated existing, and I say no, I exist. You see, and I'm comfortable to stay there, to make this dichotomy between the divine and a powerless one. But unless it becomes your living experience that it is like this, a conceptual framework cannot help us. So let's start from here and say, I exist. As I exist, there is an experiencing of all of this energetic phenomena, isn't it? That which we call the outer world and that which we call the inner world of memories, imagination, thoughts, emotions. would you say that everything which is experienced phenomenally, or are there two there?
I mean, there's just the one in existence, and even when I say I exist,
Yes.
I don't even know what that I refers
Very
to.
good. Yes, I know. It's good. It's good. You see? So this is very good. So you see that there is only this one. You see? Now all of this is experience, the outer world and the inner world, all the forces of phenomena, even the existence of time and space is experienced here. You see? And if you notice, with the appearance of all of this phenomena, there is still no sense of separation, is there? Just with them, there is still no separation.
No, I mean they just yeah, and if I just kind of totally don't follow them or anything, they're just there.
Yes, yes, yes. So all of existence seems to be very harmless, where everything is just appearing, existing, and dissolving if it has to dissolve. You see, in the backdrop, as you said, of existence itself. Now, what is that which makes this presumed separation seem real? What happens now that I start behaving like Richard or Ananta?
It seems to be
Yes.
and it's kind of, I suppose it's natural kind of always got
So, leave to really slow it down, you see.
Okay.
So we started with saying that there is a which is playing in this way and then something you see. So before we even get there, you said a part of this exists this decision. Does it just decide? So the appearances, all of this appearance is happening. How does the decision happen? Let me give you a clue. For a decision for thought.
no, that's
So another phenomenal appearance. You see, experience all of this phenomenal. Part of the phenomenal appearance is also the appearance of these thoughts. You see, we've seen how thoughts appear or are perceived by different beings. Just audio, some see visuals of them. For some, it's like neon flashing. You see, so that keep that aside for presumed decision making. Is it possible first to do it without the appearance of a thought?
a thought.
There has to be a thought, okay? But a thought can say anything, you see? So now we are coming close to the force of attention. Attention goes to a thought, then thought seems to exist. But a thought could be saying anything, isn't it? A thought can be very random. It can say all kinds of things. It was just about attention. A thought could say, I should go to Timbuktu next. You see, just because attention goes to it, does that become a decision? It doesn't have
You
to
could just look at
exactly.
it.
So what is the other factor which is needed to make a decision out of this thought? One is our attention, which gives light to its existence. Is there something else, some other power that is there without
I suppose it's like desire or preference because it
Yes.
thinks it's like oh,
Yes.
that sounds interesting or that sounds like fun. Yeah.
So what if we call that the power of belief?
Mm-hmm. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay, so a thought comes. A thought could say, I'm really enjoying this inquiry. You see? Attention can be on it, and you see, a thought could say, I'm really not liking this anymore. You see, and it's completely random. It could just say anything. I take on that play. I'm not enjoying this inquiry anymore, or I'm really enjoying this inquiry now. You see? So, so this power of belief. If I say it is existence itself to pretend as if it is this one, can you right? You see, the appearance of phenomena was happening. No decision making, no doer, nothing. Everything was fine. Nothing was being resisted. Then I say the appearance of thoughts happen. First is the which in itself gives light to the thought, but still quite harmless. Now I am presenting to you that if we were to believe these thoughts, then we pretend to be Richard or any identity.
Yeah. And I can see that, but it's like it's kind of that's what the divine is deciding.
It's very good. If these words are full of integrity, then that is what is called surrender. You see? So what is surrender? It is this what you said. Let the divine do whatever it wants. I have nothing to do with it anyway. You see? Now if this is your true position, that it doesn't really matter what is happening to do with it. The divine is playing in this way. He is the doer, he is the experiencer. Then in the life of Richard, it will not seem like any suffering can appear.
And the bit that's really confusing for me in that is, like that's true anyway.
Yes.
You know, it's like I mean, I'm not. I don't even know how to surrender anyway. But on another level, like there isn't anything to surrender.
Very good.
But I don't really get that. But it's,
Very good.
I can kind of see it. It's very confusing.
Very good. So if you see this, that even surrender is a play.
Yeah.
You see, he is already or she is
It's
already
like
running
anyway.
her life.
Yeah. Even if you don't like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
What needs to be looked at now is who is this one that is commentating on the play of God? Does it have any tangible attributes, any sort of existence whatsoever? You say there is nothing for me to do, there's nowhere for me to go, I am not doing, I am not experiencing anything at all. You see, then what is your position in all of this in the first place? And as we explore this question, we will go from this surrender to God being a band-aid, you see, a conceptual band-aid saying, okay, God is doing everything anyway, to it being our living experience that only God is. There is no separate I.
Hmm. Because I know that I
Yeah.
can't experience that with full integrity,
Yeah.
or even, never mind full.
Actually,
Slight
you,
integrity.
if I say you only experience that with full integrity,
I mean, that is really true.
yes,
Yeah, I know that's true.
yeah, isn't it?
Hmm. And then there arises that, okay, so just because it's not being experienced as blissful right now
Yes,
doesn't mean it's not the divine
of
unfolding,
course.
sort of thing.
Yes,
But I'm
because
definitely
is the divine only blissful?
no,
No.
doesn't look like it. No,
Yes,
but I of course, I want things to be different.
yes.
Yeah.
Now this is
Still the divine, though.
yes,
So the divine wants it to be
yes,
different.
yes. So I'll tell you what is going on. So what is happening is that the divine has created this entire realm to play as if it is a person. You see?
Hmm.
And most of this realm teaches you how to be a more skillful person, a better person, how to get along as a person, how to get by as a person. You see?
Mhm.
Now, at least we like to feel that amongst all of this, also the divine has created certain places where it divine. You see? So everything else is meant to add conditions to I am. I am now better at finance, I am now better at working with people, I am now better at science. You see, when we come to a satsang, this of letting go of all that we've attached to this I am. You see, so then when we come to satsang, the divine experience itself in its pure, unadulterated form, you see, which is all part of the play, of course.
Hmm.
You see, you're not exiting the play in any way, but it is adding on of these conditions using the power of our belief and then letting go of all of these conditions and to see, come to the recognition of our unadulterated presence. You see, the adulteration is not serious because it's only a pretense.
Mhm.
You see, that's very important for all of us to know. Nothing really happened to the divine. It cannot.
Yeah.
You see, really, but we use the word only because it is playing as if it is. I am this way, I am that kind of person. You see,
Hmm.
it is not true. The divine is all there is.
Yes.
You see, but it has this belief, which is its power to pretend. You see, so then what happens is that after you can contemplate that for a while. I saw your expression
But
and I
like,
said
you must enjoy doing it.
Yes,
because
of
it's like,
course.
this is great
Of
crack,
course,
I'll
of
do
course.
this for lifetimes
Yes,
or
yes,
for
yes.
gigs.
Just like we enjoy reading a book or going to a movie, the play, which has all of this juice of
Hmm.
highs and low, more enjoyable, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's
Yes.
so if that is true for this, in this play of us, then it definitely must be true for the divine. So for the divine to play as if it is Richard and as if it is Ananta, then it must use the power of pretending. You see? And the power of pretending is nothing but the power of belief.
Hmm.
So when I believe Ananta thoughts, then I play as if I am Ananta. When you believe Richard thoughts, then you play as if you are Richard. And is to believe
Hmm.
like that. But why it's important to see it's a pretense is because nothing, you see, it is just pretending as if it is speaking as Richard. It is pretending as if it is speaking as Ananta.
Hmm.
You see, this difference never really happened because it is one.
Yeah.
And that is our experience now. We've contemplated together also, and we've seen that all of it is happening within this existence, within this space of being. Isn't it?
Well, there isn't anywhere else for it to happen. Like
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See? Now, that is why Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharishi said that if you still feel like you have a choice, then the only choice you have right now is to go along with what your thoughts are saying, or to just let them come and go.
But that takes that takes a lot of practice. Maybe it
It's a
doesn't take a
common
lot of
one.
practice then.
Let's look at this. There is nothing for us to do. These thoughts, the one, you see. So if it is a father identity that here, as we inquire into these deeply nourished identities, you find that they become lighter and lighter. You see? And it doesn't, I wouldn't say too much. It needs a lot of practice or something. Just the simple looking like this. You see? Then when identification comes, it becomes an opportunity for us to inquire into that identity. You see? So if it is becoming more and more our living experience that the divine is here, the existence itself is the divine consciousness. You see? Then how is it that I can get so perturbed when this person calls me on the phone and says blah 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 or something? You see? So then instead of pushing those situations aside, we become more welcoming towards them, and we say, what is happening here? What am I still believing about myself? What is the pretense which is still going on? You see? And who's doing all of this? The divine itself. There is nobody else. You see? And then Bhagavan said that as we make this seeming choice, see, it's very important what he said. He said, as we make this seeming choice, and the sense of the choice maker itself is dissolved, then we see that even this was all grace. Okay? It is a subtle point, but it's important, because what can happen in Advaita is that this concept doing still presuming that there is a divine which is separate from us and will do it. Consciousness is the consciousness is having a monologue. I've been playing like this. I've been playing as Richard, and it seems it's become a bit tiring. And say, this Richard thing seems to get a little bit tiring now. You see? Yeah.
Right.
So then God, for so many, I say, it's okay. You can just let them come and go. The seem to be the ones that you wished in the past, and that using the tool of inquiry, that one.
And when you inquire, like
Yes.
I seem to be very bad at this. Um, you know, when I see, who's asking this question,
Yes.
right? Mostly the answer I get is I don't know.
Yes. It's a very
because
good
I don't
answer.
actually know. It's kind of, I mean, I could make up that it's God.
Yes.
And it makes sense, but in a felt sense,
Yeah. Can you stop You see, here at least not really do
Even if it's horrible or at least it's
yeah. What should understand and how from a hold on to it. Yeah, having a rough time with the internet today. But I'm enjoying this inquiry a lot. I hope all of you are as well. So what is happening here is that we are really letting go of resonating with our direct experiences. You see, because they just add to the baggage.
yes.
So we are looking at this one where you said that it's all just this God energy which is doing playing out in this way anyway. So when do we see this to be true? The presence of this consciousness, the sense of existence is there. And in the light of this presence, all of this comes to life, isn't it?
Well, I suppose for me, my consciousness is present here. Now, whatever, the God bit that's me. So I'm aware of this little bit. I'm aware of the room and a small amount of things.
Yes.
But there are limits to my awareness here and now, as I experience it.
Yes. Yes. So, since we're speaking about the limits of experience, what we can do is check other times where we've experienced things and see what was real about that or not. So, when you have a dream, you see, in the dream you get a newspaper saying that, let's take a happy story, that a mass wedding happened in Southern California where 1,000 couples got married. I don't know how that is a happy story, but
it does
happen. So now you read this in the news. You see? Now, did that happen? No.
In the reality of the dream?
Yes.
Yes. But it didn't happen when I wake up into this reality.
Limit to our existence, the limit, you see, to speak of it in this way, all that exists is what you are experiencing now.
I mean, there's probably other stuff, like, Australia is probably still there, but I don't directly know that.
In the dream, somebody could, I don't know whether Shivani is there, somebody could join the hangout from Australia.
Yes.
You see, but all your experience of Australia is that one in the hangout.
Yes. So really, like, it just seems, I have been looking at this for years and years. It's like that there is only one.
Very good.
Right. But I don't. Sometimes I experience that a bit more than others. But my experience is usually limited. But I still believe that there is only the one. It just seems to make.
Suggesting that you get about the belief. And you tell me how you are experiencing two. You say, I rarely experience it as one. Experiencing it as one. Show me how you experience it as two.
I suppose a big part of that is interacting with other people who make unexpected decisions, or I don't understand their motivation or behavior, and that's quite challenging to think that, okay, well, we're actually still the same thing, even though I believe we are, but I interact in a manner that we're two people or three people or whatever it is.
Yes. So what you're saying is that there are still not two that exist, you see, but this sense of existence, there are two of us. Would that be accurate? Perceive the two senses of existence.
No, because I mean, I don't know what's going on inside here at the moment. Like, anything could be happening.
Yeah.
So I just hold a belief. One thing happening, but it's a pretty strong belief, which is probably a bad thing.
There
because the only experience is is the stuff that is being stuff experiencing.
If we didn't have the label limited, because it is your.
It is, but like from reading, different masters and different that can be wildly different. It isn't. I'm quite different now from when I was
Nobody,
5.
no matter who the that I've experienced two senses.
No, they won't.
Various phenomena can be experienced within this one sense of existence. It can even be that something which seemingly happening in your body as a sensation
Yes.
is being experienced here, you see, but doesn't mean now that it is still within the same existence. You see, that's why the dream thing is very good to check on, because in the dream all that is appearing is happening within this one space of consciousness, including the seeming other body. You see?
Yeah.
Language sometimes, but it's not true. Take the space between the two beings as part of the same being. The same being is.
But I don't actually say it, but as a parallel, I can see what it could be happening here, but it's a bit hard to get my head around that it is. I'm not judging you, obviously, because you've got stuff going on. I'm.
You see, but what I want to tell you is about these that I call the side insights. You see, as you come to more and more clarity about who you are, as you more and more marinate in your sense of existence, I am. You see, offer you one question which will take beyond. You see, as more and more you become clear about this, it's come to you. We are not here to prove that the world is a dream or illusion or real or something. That is not the core of our pointing. You see? We are here to figure out who we are. You see? And then if it comes as an insight, it's just another dream or an illusion, it's okay. You see? Just because we know that doesn't give us any advantage in the dream anyway. You see? So I feel it's been very beautiful where we looked at this sense of existence. Now, if I was to ask you, who is aware even of this sense of existence, what would you say? You're not making it up, are you? You're not just pretending as if there is a sense of existence.
No, I can feel it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this I is which one?
Well, when you say who is aware of the sense of existence, it's like it goes back even further.
Yeah.
And it's just a feeling like there's no, I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
There's no name for it.
Yeah.
I don't know how big it is or anything
But
like
when
that.
I said that, are you just making it up? This sense of no, I can feel it.
Yes.
So it's good. It's good that way. It's good to be natural like that, because sometimes we can. That's why many times I will ask a question when we get uncomfortable with not knowing what this I is. You see, then we start going on the side question of I don't really know. So then I say, so is she telling you that you exist? No, you directly experience this sense of existence.
Yes.
Isn't it? Now, what is confusing is, what I is this one? and let the mind get totally confused with this question and give up. Because it cannot go to these realms at all. What is your direct experience? So therefore the question then becomes, from can you stop being now to who is aware even of this being?
I'm like, the best I can do is I don't know who.
Yes.
I just, there is an awareness,
Yes.
and I don't know what the I is, but it's felt, and I don't like using kind of vague terms like it's felt, because it's like I'm trying to avoid it.
It's fine.
Like I feel it,
Yes.
but I don't know who the I is that's
Yes.
feeling it.
Yes. Very good. There is, you say already something very good, which is that there is an awareness of it, and then in another sentence you say there is an I which is feeling it. So let me then propose this hypothesis to you. You are this awareness. What you have to do is prove me wrong, not the other way around. And let me also help you into how you can prove me wrong. You can show me where awareness is, but you are not. Or where you are, but awareness is not.
Like I get that I'm awareness, not massively, but I do get it. But I don't know where
What do
it's
you mean by get?
located. I recognize that that's
Very
true,
good.
right? I
No, is it just
I
a
can-
feeling which is resonating? Yes, this feels true. Is it like
It's
that,
a-
or is it when you check?
It's
You
when
can
it's
see.
it's almost like I'm following it, and
Yes.
I can feel it, and I can't really explain it very well. But like, there's awareness, and I feel it, and I kind of don't know where it's emanating from. But it's nothing. It's not outside of me.
Yes.
It's kind of at the back of all of me, sort of thing. It's the deepest part of me.
Now, that which you're calling me, which is in front of awareness, is what? The sense of existence that we spoke about? Or what is more intimate to you, this awareness or that me?
Well, to be honest, I'm more used to the me.
Yes, but when you check.
But deeper still is the
Yes.
awareness.
Yes, and when you check, what is more intimate?
I'm not sure what you mean by intimate.
Intimate
like,
means what is closer to you, what has less distance, what seems more like that is in front of me. Is awareness in front of you, or is the sense of me in front of you?
see, I'm more used to the me, but the me is in front of the awareness.
Very good, very good.
I'm not so used to sitting in the awareness.
Okay, leave the awareness. These are popular notions, you see. You say, I'm not used to sitting in the awareness,
Yeah, but
so
see-
leave it and show me.
Yeah, you see that. Because it's a misidentification. 'cause
It is,
you can't
again,
really
we're
link
talking
it.
about attention, you see.
Yes.
Our attention is more on objects. Therefore, we feel like I'm not sitting in awareness anymore. You see. But when I say leave the awareness aside for even a second, can we do it?
Not really, no.
Not at all.
It's more truthful. It's even though I'm not so used to it, it's a more truthful.
Therefore, this awareness, because it is what you are, you cannot leave it aside even for an instant.
That's true, but I can totally
You can totally
miss it. I can locate myself away from it. And it's not true really, but I can feel like I'm not
you
in it.
can
I can
only-
be distracted.
you can only
Yes.
pretend as if.
Yes. Oh, well, that's true. Yeah.
You see, we have been doing that.
Yeah, because I can't really do it. Yes.
You cannot really do it, but you
No,
only
pretend.
play as if. You see? Okay. Now pretend as if you are not this awareness without believing a thought. Allow your attention also to go wherever it wants. Let everything be as it is. And do this pretend as if. Some idea.
That's quite funny because it's I can't really do it, and I have to. It's like now I have to do the thing I normally do, which is run after different things to try and distract myself
Yes.
from the fact that I am
Yes.
awareness.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what will happen now is that as your own being is coming to the recognition of its source, you see, because awareness did not forget itself in any way, but it has a dynamic part like this hand is still the body, you see, but is moving around a bit more, which is consciousness, the being. You see, within this, all of this play of the universe is happening. Now, being addicted to picking stuff, you see, which was the pretend stuff, has become and don't give in to that habit anymore. You see that urge will be there, that habit chew on the. So in the play, it's of course still part of the play. The play is designed, being gets identified with all of this, gets used to picking up this. We call it the rehab for God Himself. You see, God is created to, and God is saying, I'm not going to play as a person anymore, and He allows all of these things to come and go, all part of the Leela. It's nothing is outside of it. You see? So that is what is going on in Satsang, that as the urge will come more and more, you see, especially now that you're coming to the recognition of your own source, the mind will try to keep its primacy alive and will give you all kinds of things, you see. So there are a few things that help with this. Just see if you can just remain open, allow all thoughts to come and go. Those things which you pick up on, see if you can pull them into your inquiry, you see, and they can lose some weight because of that. And if it's possible for you when you go back to join the hangout, satsang, then the energetic presence of satsang itself is very helpful for us not to move in that way, you see. So because what you're recognizing is that the truth is remain unchanged. Awareness has always been awareness. Being is just being. So the whole game is about whether I'm pretending anymore or not, as being itself. You see, is not. So what happens is when we get identified with these thoughts, we can pull them into our inquiry. But already with the simple inquiry that we've done together, mental stuff will be just allowed to come and go. It'll become a lot lighter. But the mind will not like that. It'll give you some trump card thoughts and some, you see, ideas which you can pick up on. And they could even be very spiritual Advaita ideas. You see, but you know, something. You see? So that is why it is as much as possible, as often as possible, if you can come to satsang and we can look more together, then it will start to become more and more natural. You see, and there are many in satsang now who are now just allowing this mind to come and go and yet their life continues in the most peaceful, positive ways.
You.
Is there a question
Mother, can I come?
inquiry for? Wait. Yeah. I know that something is agitating there. It's okay. We can look at that together in a while. I just want to know from all of you. We had this very beautiful, and I know the internet was up and down for many of you. So both who are sitting there and those who've been able to hear a bit, is there a particular point where you are stuck and it doesn't resonate with in what we spoke, and we can look at that together? Then we can look at Anilji and what's happening with him. So everything was clear as we went through the inquiry? Yeah. Huh? It started like that and then okay. What is the can you are you able to identify some places where it doesn't seem so? Is it like a self-limiting belief that yes, I have to understand this more later or something? Yeah? Are you subtly giving yourself some homework instead of just being able to see right now? Related, you can come. Aparna said something is related to what we are.
Namaste, Father.
Namaste.
My question is, if everything is what is, and
Yes.
this this suffering, apparent suffering, is it also what is, or part of what is, or part of what is, or it is also what is, or something, because this is something which I've been stuck or contemplating actually. Um, if suffering is also part of what is,
Yeah.
the inquiry also will be part of what is. Everything is what is then, right? Somehow I feel something
Yes.
is missing there, because right now
Yes.
what is
Yes.
actually happening is everything is losing um, what to say, flavor actually, even including the spirituality, and you know I don't know if I've gone beyond mind, or I'm still in the mind. Because if you say what is, there is no mind actually. That experience is there,
Yeah.
because when you're just looking at
Yeah.
what is, I found the difference between what is and being in the mind. I found it, because what is cannot be described at
Yeah.
all. I've seen that, but then what is happening in the mind is also part of the what is. Do you understand, Father?
Yes.
It's a bit like a confusion, and it's a bit of a subtle, tricky thing. So if you can just let me.
This is very important. This is very important. It's very important that we look at this. You see, because every suffering, the mind itself is only consciousness. You see, consciousness. Huh? Now, if truly it is understood that there is no personal I, it is experienced that is, and we are not picking up any idea of the design is that all that there is something personal. You see, you see. So although suffering also happens within the what is, yeah, then what does it imply? It implies that something personal is being picked up. Therefore, we cannot say that I truly have dropped the sense of personal I, and yet suffering is continuing, but I know that I am not suffering because it is only God which is doing everything. It is a very subtle point, it's a very important point, and it is a point where all, not all, but many stuck. You see? So what then happens is that we say that it is not the sun which is going around the earth coming from the east and setting in the west. I know it is the earth which is going around the sun. You see? You see? So even when the experience of suffering is coming, which means that the experience of the sun rising and the sun setting is happening, we try to say yes, but I know the truth. Actually, it is the earth which is going around experience because our living is this sun rising and sun setting. You see? So what happens, the way this realm is designed, just like gravity attracts two objects together and doesn't push them apart. You see, just like water flows from the higher to the lower level, in the same way, there is only suffering if there is something personal. Although all of it is happening in the realm of unconsciousness, you see, so nothing is changing in reality about consciousness. But the appearance of suffering implies that there is a misbelief. I am believing myself to be something which is not. You see? So instead of tying this, no. You see? No, I am just conscious. Suffering is not okay. You see? Nah, we try to Advaita suffering away by using mental concepts, and that creates more resistance. Instead of that, it is better to look. You see? Better why? You see? And that is the urge that we have. That's why we are in that. What is it that I am still believing about myself? And inquire in a way. You see, suffering and everything happens only within consciousness. This pointing is God's play within consciousness, telling him that there is no need to suffer now because you are not a person. There is nothing personal about you. You see? Does this mean that we are resisting something? No. In fact, we are getting open. And openness and suffering are opposites. You see, the intellectual mind or the Advaita mind can make this very confusing. But it is not possible in this realm for this hand to be open at the same time. You see? This living experience close, or so if the hand is open, is the opposite of suffering. You see? So consciousness. It is only a play of consciousness. But what can happen is that we can have, because but God is telling us, or life is telling us, that the me is being kept alive by showing, and we are avoiding even that. Till something really big has to come and shake us out of this. You see? So I'm trying to save you all a lot of trouble, because it is trouble that I experience here myself. You see? And it is not the end of suffering. So I was keeping the me alive in the Advaita itself. Then you see that the alarm clock is ringing, beep, 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 saying, me is there, me is there, me is there, inquire. You see? And we see beep, beep, gets more and more intense. You see? Because we can try to deny away our suffering as much as we like, but it doesn't really help
Father,
to take.
may I speak here?
Yeah.
For me, what is actually happening is there is um, the I don't have any identification with anything now, like
Very good.
with the family or anything. Even what comes, anybody's tell stories, what my stories, anything doesn't matter because it's not believe any of those. But then I don't know if there is anything beyond that, the superficial one, on the surface level one, because um, I I don't know if I am right to say that I still don't feel that complete satisfaction, Father. Somehow I don't know if you're uh, able to feel what I'm feeling from my heart. That there is a deep urge here, or is it true, or is it also an imagined? I'm not sure, but still that complete satisfaction, if you have, like, just like, for example, if you're really hungry and if you have a proper meal and your tummy is full and you feel so satisfied, you just relax into it completely. That's exactly what I feel like. I'm looking for that kind of complete satisfaction or complete fullness or contentment or whatever it is, um, that's something which is coming up from, I don't know what is going to give me that, it's also again another seeking. I'm not sure
Yes.
about it,
Yes.
but okay, maybe, see, that's why it's very subtle, Father. This is what I'm not able to, because it's very subtle, I'm not able to notice it. So it's bit of
So
because nothing outside is making me happy now, so I don't know what is this all.
yes. Justify have heard that there's so much contentment that you feel completely full, and I just want that, you see. What am I asking for? Just, it's basic small identification. Then I must have this. I am not getting this. You see what is happening? So the identification which is left is the identification with this. So the I that wants this is which one? The same one, you see, isn't it? So this is how the mind can be tricky. Now it is seeing that everything is becoming lighter. Relationships, money, body, seeking itself is becoming lighter. And very subtly it sold you the idea, but this should make you feel really contentment. I should feel good in my heart, you see. And the I was born again in this, the pretend I. So this way, that's why it's a trickster, you see. And it can seem very, very justifiable. Yes, now I'm not identifying, I'm free, I recognize myself. I am this awareness which is aware even of being. Right? But where's the contentment? that small but, you see, but where is the contentment? Itself makes it is also ultimate, because the I that wants contentment is not being.
So, rather than so when you say it's all grace, even Bhagwan says it's all grace,
Yes.
So what is happening is also grace, he says beginning, middle and end is also grace.
Yes.
This is all grace, it's all
Yes.
grace. So I have to just leave it saying it's grace, because I have to expose this part of the mind which has been like past condition, previously it was very scared to know, to be in the unknown, because right now there is no nothing to know, nothing to do, right? What's happening is sometimes it sneaks into this energy forecast and all, what's going to happen and all those things and all. I want to expose that as well, because that's very, very tricky. It keeps going up there to find out how the days will be, whether, because everything is stopped right now.
Where did
And this is actually
energy
good. Forecast, yeah. It's like what's going to happen tomorrow and all those things, Father.
astrology.
So yeah,
Like
kind
astrology.
of astrology. Yeah, kind of, yeah. But it's a different Western kind of thing. So it was conditioned for me to look into that previously, and it's still sometimes, I have totally associated with that. But still sometimes it goes there to see what is happening, because it cannot stick to this now what is happening, So that's why it does that. And that's when it just starts. That is where it starts. It gives me a little bit of I don't know. Slowly it'll like it'll show me a little bit of that thing. Oh, it'll be exciting. You should know. It's okay. You don't have to believe it and all those things. So slowly I'll go and see, and then one step by step, and then I fall into that trap again. This is what is happening. Don't eat it. Who asked you to eat that? Don't eat. Go. So this is what is happening, and then these subtle things are coming up, and it's giving me kind of frustration or whatever. I just said that it's not fulfilled. I'm still looking for something.
Yeah.
Being the true oneness and all those things. So because, as you say, it's grace. I don't have anything to ask now, but it's so it's so tricky to be in this place also for the mind. Even though it is consciousness, it itself is not happy with being in this place. So it's like, it's like a spring, and I'm squashed inside, something like that, Father. It's very uncomfortable, and I don't understand this logic of consciousness behaving like this. It's squashing itself, and it's like...
Yes, a few things I want to say, which will be helpful to everyone hearing. First is when we say, but the mind is also consciousness. Where is that coming from? We must examine for ourselves. You see, have I ever said the mind is not consciousness? Do you feel that I've forgotten the mind is also consciousness? You see, so many times it can come where something wants to keep some position alive for the mind, you see, which itself comes as a defense, but don't forget, I am also consciousness, you see. I know this very well. Yeah. Just like I know that the sage is consciousness and the serial killer is also consciousness. Just as I know that the wolf is consciousness and a hamster is also consciousness. I am fully aware that this mind is also consciousness. You see, but I know that this mind is not telling you the truth. You see, not telling you the truth, especially about who you are. You see, so in spite of it being consciousness, and consciousness is full of extremes. You see, so consciousness expressing itself as a personal voice is the voice of the mind. Now this voice is also very well designed because it is consciousness. You see, so it will use whatever possible to keep belief in itself alive. You see, it will try to pretend as if it's your pet dog. You see, but you see, so that is why I keep emphasizing that all that the mind is telling you, all that the mind is telling you are just tickets to this merry-go-round. Every thought is a ticket to this merry-go-round, and anything that we pick up, you see in how it played out so beautifully, also for everyone to see that we can feel like it can be so clear. Yes, I'm just this being. Everything is happening within me. The play of Aparna and her life is happening within this being. Everything is playing out. There is no resistance, nothing to resist, because I am full of this space, unlimited space. I will not run out of this space of being. Therefore, everything is welcome. And then this sneaky thought comes, yes, but if this was true for you, you would be full of contentment, you see, or you would just feel like satisfied. And this trickster thought, it gets us. You see? We just give it our belief. And then what happens? Nothing happened to consciousness. Being is still being. You see? But in this belief, in this thought, we presumed ourselves again to be an entity that wants contentment, you see. And then when we inquire into it, we see, who is this I that wants contentment? Doesn't exist. You said the same guy, the false one, the presumed one. And this way then, all the trickery and subtlety is being exposed, and I'm happy you come to Satsang and you expose them, because everyone can look at these things and they might be shy to expose or something like that. So it's very important to bring this. So this is the first most important point. The second, and I want all of you to really get this today, because it will save you a lot of trouble tomorrow. You see, do you all see that suffering is only resistance? Do you all see it or no? Is it possible to suffer without resisting? Seen? Isn't it? You must see it like that. You see? To see it like this is very important. You see? Otherwise, what you will do is coming, and if it becomes mental Advaita, you'll say, yes, so much suffering is coming. But that is the way consciousness is playing right now. I have not identified, just suffering is playing. It is not possible to suffer without identifying. You can be in pain, of course, without identifying. But suffering means identification. Suffering means resistance. Now, the idea of saying all of this is not to make you feel guilty. If there is a sense of suffering, then know that there must be some identification, and inquire into this identity or surrender it. Don't keep carrying it around subtly. Because we are here for freedom now. We are saying that we are done with this play now. And although I know that in the ultimate scheme of things, none of it really matters. If being wants to pretend to be personal for 10 million more lifetimes, then being will pretend as if it is personal for 10 million more lifetimes. Yet my role in this play right now is to implore you and provoke you into dropping all of these ideas right now, knowing fully well that what will happen or not happen is none of my concern actually. Just these words need to be spoken from this mouth right now. That's all I know.
Right now, Father, there's a thought that comes. It's like, oh, have I got the entire thing as conceptually only? You know, the entire thing
Yes,
is
yes.
only concept.
Yeah, so if this still has juice, then find out who is the I who could have got it only conceptually.
It's a thought. It's not something I'm identifying with.
Yeah, so let it
It's
come
just a
and
thought.
go. There must be some subtle identification. That's why
There
we're a
is,
little bit worried
Father.
about that.
Why? Yes, I don't know what is that, Father. For me, because seriously, everything is happening very subtly. This deeper understanding which is coming up is all very subtle. Because honestly, when I'm just sitting there and then there is this experience of being what is, I'm just sitting there and there was this beautiful experience of being what is, which cannot be described. But that's very subtle to see, it's not seen from the mind. And everything is happening on the subtle things, so I'm not able to understand actually what is happening, and it's a little bit driving me crazy, seriously.
Yeah, yes, yes. So good you expose this. So
I'm so angry at myself, I'm so angry, seriously.
yes, but who is this I?
Because it's getting exposed, that's why it's angry.
Exactly. See, subtly it tries to make us defensive again. You see,
See, yeah.
like when we were growing up, we used to have these. There used to be a jungle close to our house. I don't know whether you guys know near Alagi. So there used to be this forest near our house. We would go there and play. So as kids, we would see these big ant hills. You see, and there was some pleasure we were getting of destroying these ant hills. So we would kick them, kick them away and destroy the ant hills. The next day we would go again, there was rebuilding, these ants, the rebuilding. So now what is happening is that we are kicking off the conceptual frameworks, but the mind tries like that, like ants, to rebuild based on the concepts that you have heard in Satsang itself. You see, and very good you said that now because it's getting exposed, because something in your heart is here in Satsang, and you trust this love which is present in Satsang, and therefore, like a child, you come and expose that yes, this is happening now, this is happening now. You see, and the mind doesn't like it. It's like, why you have to come and expose all of this, and we got this, don't we have this in control? Your freedom is in good hands now. Isn't it? The mind is saying, why you have to come and tell Ananta all this? You see, because it is trying to subtly build a new anthill, you see, which is very like Advaita anthill now. You see,
That is
and
true, Father, that's very true. Very true.
I'm saying that whatever anthill you have, these ants will bite. Therefore, suffering will come, and these ants itself will convince you that this is not suffering anymore. You see, this is just what is.
That's
Of course,
exactly
it is
true.
what is.
That's
Yes.
exactly true what is happening.
Yeah.
That's why
Yes.
I'm getting, oh my goodness, what do I do, Father? Please save me.
Give up.
Give up. I'm not even taken to give up. I don't want anything. I'm not even after freedom. I'm not even about anything. Honestly, I don't have any kind of desires about freedom or whatever. Everything is dropped. What else is there to give
Then
up?
okay, you have no desire. Nothing. Then what is troubling you?
Nothing actually. That's why.
You
I
cannot be
contradict
troubled with not
myself so
desire.
much. I contradict myself so much. I say something, I say something. Oh my god.
But it's very good that you say, because many will be believing all this but not saying, you see.
Hmm. It doesn't seem nice also to come every time, and I mean it's good in a way. I'm exposing like that. See, because it's very silly, Father. It doesn't make sense. No, it's like I don't know if it makes sense. I don't know.
This is really true.
Take the mic, please.
The bliss part,
Something Shruti is also saying about this only.
because it's explained in books.
On. Fully up. Full, yeah. That's good.
Yeah, because it's explained in books, that bliss of 100 suns and, those kind of descriptions and everything. And I had those questions myself,
yes.
not just a little while back, actually.
Yes.
And so this underlying current of, that thought that there should be something contentment.
Yes.
That's very familiar.
Yes.
Like I've dropped everything. And what is it? There must be that Sat Chit Anand, no? So, so I equated that, and most of us do. So I had actually asked this question to somebody I knew, Swamiji, Chinmay Mission, and he made it very clear. So there's one experience I had, I'd gone for the parikrama, Girivalam, Arunachalam, and I was really sick, and there was no way I could go for the parikrama, and it rained all night. It was the when the Chennai flood, that same day, it was a really bad rain. And we had booked ourselves. We knew that I am supposed to go for this Girivalam. And all night through, my daughter had a very bad vomiting and diarrhea attack. So I said, okay, Bhagwan, you've called me here and you take care of it. I don't know. So I gave her all the medicines, and we decided to go. I'll go. If I don't have to go, I'm okay with it. So then early in the morning, usually the Girivalam is about 7 a.m. It's already quite late. So we had the waiter get in the cup of tea and everything. And then, so I asked him, and he inspired me. He said, there are a lot of people who are going even with the umbrella, so why don't you go ahead? So I said, all right, I'll do that. And my daughter had breakfast, and that's okay. If she has this toast, then maybe I'll, that's what I told myself. And then, cut the story short, I bought a raincoat, and then I said, okay, I'm going to do this. So I was alone, and I had a fever, and I had got a chikungunya test done because my legs were really achy. And I started, and and I kept chanting on the way through, and a lot of beautiful experiences on the way. But what happened is that those hours of parikrama, slowly, everything just kept going away, and that, almost like a stripping away of all the things, that almost a letting go of so many things. And then that last 1 hour was very tough. And then when you have to cross through the city, and there's lots of puddles of water. So it's the rain, and the puddles of the water and the vehicles going through. And one of the vehicles, there were a lot of vehicles who were passing by, and then the water would splash on you. And I was thinking, oh, all right, I mean, this is it, right? It can't be, I mean, I can't get better than this, and it's not going to get worse than this. Okay, that's it. Take everything away. This is it. So it felt really content somehow. I said, there's nothing else that can go worse, right? So that's such a cool feeling to have, that take everything away. And somehow a lot of magical things happened during that, when I went to the ashram, and things that I had they're just part of the experiences. But what I'm trying to say is that somehow with that and little later, this contentment part that Aparna was talking about, it seems that contentment is not something to be built. It seems that it's kind of stripping away of whatever it is. It just needs to go. Everything needs to go, and then what remains is what is. Kind of, it felt that way.
Yeah.
So it's not something that is external,
Yes.
which of course everybody knows that. But what I'm trying to say is, what I felt very deeply is it's something that was always here, is always a part of me, and it's not to be gained by going even outside. Even we are reminding ourselves by. What I'm saying is, like, I used to think like going out for a satsang for a very long time, and of course it helps. But what I'm saying is, I used to get very attached to, a Swamiji or being, and I think Bhagwan's grace that I think that part of it, I don't want to be dependent on that feeling anymore. You see that feeling should go away, should not depend on anything. so that I think that's something inherent that we have to find, I think, by letting go
are
of
you
whatever it is.
now dependent or not being dependent?
Not depend. I didn't get it actually. Say
The I that doesn't want to depend on anyone now is which one?
Yeah, of course it's. Yes. Yes. I see.
Because we can get dependent on the idea of independence also, isn't it? So it also can happen that, like in satsang, it has happened a couple of times that we had some kids who were really doing very well as far as you can say in satsang, and then the sense came to them that I want to be a bit independent now, you see? And of course there's encouragement here to do that, but I see that independence would then just became like an excuse to play with other mental things.
Yes, I think it's impossible without that guidance.
Yes.
It's completely, because your mind can imagine so much.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, at that point,
That's very important.
totally, yes.
Because, and what is good about satsang is that whatever you will find that there is, so it will not tendency of usually with the authentic teachers. So then it is any sort of unnatural dependency or unnatural sort of relationship will not last for too long.
I think that's what. Yes, exactly. You said it, Ananta. That's a part I had to learn the hard way, I think.
Exactly.
But, yes. Mind is very operates in very queer ways, and we I think that's the scary part, because we believe we have a completely different impression of how we are, and you can only see from somebody who's through somebody else's eyes, and you can't see your faults so clearly. So, absolutely.
That's helpful. It's very helpful to have a living teacher, because we were just talking about it the other day. Maybe not in satsang, but just after satsang, I was sharing that somebody like Socrates, for example, he hated the written word, because he said that in writing okay, I'm paraphrasing, but in writing, the one that is reading the word will meet only this aspect of me. You see. Yes. So when you meet an authentic living presence, then it's actually the questioner that is getting answered. You see. So for the same question, there could be 50 different answers, but depending on what is needed at that point of time, what is the level of resonance at that point of time. So it has come from there. You see, otherwise we could have just written one book.
Oh yes. I remember somebody asked Swami Chinmayananda, the Gurudev, this question that if everything is available in the books, then why why do we have to come to you? And he said, okay, why don't you ask your book this question? Why are you asking me?
Exactly.
So, no, there's no way.
Exactly.
I mean, that part is absolutely clear.
You see? So this is just like when we come and say in Satsang, and I've heard the question a few times, do we need a living master? I said yes, otherwise who will answer this question for you? Even that if you need to ask.
Yes. No question about it, yes.
It's very helpful. I won't say need. I would say that if it's available, and then that's the best form of grace which is coming. Very good. And this way then we come and see that I make no conclusions about myself anymore. You see? I don't say now I'm this way or that way. And for a while it's a bit shaky. It can feel like I have no legs to stand on. I have no beliefs about myself, no conceptual floor, you see. Yes. I don't know whether I'm dependent, independent. I don't know whether I'm whatever the attributes might have been. You will not be able to distinguish between the attribute and its opposite. You just say this is what is appearing at the moment. You see? Or you're very kindly. That's the fun of this.
Yes, it's beautiful.
One sec, my dear. You want the mic?
It's like at the moment, feels like there's a lot of tendencies that's here that I didn't even really realize were there, to be honest.
Like, for example?
So like one of them is this obsession with like things which are labeled mine. Like even though I can't find the me when I look, like still it's there, and it's like almost hypnotic somehow. It's like
Obsession
my
with things which are the mine.
No, which are mine, like which feels like they belong to me, and it's like and it's not just things, it's also like as in physical things. It's maybe things like I I don't know exactly what, but it's not just like physical things, but it's like, and I can see it's not true, but at the same time, it's like somehow I'm enjoying it.
But liking the feeling of his ownership.
Yeah, and like this kind of privacy, really, this secrecy, this center point that's like me, and then of course like thoughts are always there to back that up and to say, oh yeah, no, like here's a borderline, and here's what this person is, why they're doing that, or what they're planning, and it's always like suspicion, and it's always stuff like this, and so I'm finding that it's horrible, like it's really horrible, and I want it to stop. Like, as in, I feel that deeply that.
Can you something that happened which manifested in this way?
Yeah. So an example might be like, say if I'm, at home, if I'm cooking something or I'm making some tea or something like that.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I have been feeling kind of just a bit hopeless, I guess, really recently, and a bit like down or something. So that's there. And then say like when these guys come through quite innocently and just saying like, oh, what are you making, or like, and immediately something's like inside, and I just feel like, oh, and then
like, what, the tea is mine, don't touch it, like that.
Well, yeah, and just like.
Are you using tea metaphorically or seriously?
Seriously.
Okay.
Like, I feel like a 3-year-old with a bag of sweets or something. Just like, you know, or even worse, because I can see that there's no joy in this me. Even worse, I feel like a 3-year-old with a toy that takes 2 people to play, like a seesaw or something, and I'm sat on the seesaw, and obviously you can't play on the seesaw on your own. But like, just because of basically selfishness. That like no one else can sit on the other side or something like this, and it's horrible, and
it can happen sometimes.
But there's a lot of resistance to actually, like, sometimes just dropping it and being like.
Do you feel that the rest of your roommates are lazy? Because it can be like that, you know, they just laze around, don't do anything. I'm making tea and they want that also.
I don't think so, because like I've always enjoyed that. I enjoy cooking, and I enjoy being in the kitchen, and I enjoy stuff like that, and I enjoy like. I guess people, that kind of thing, and so in maybe like say over the past like 3 years or something like that, I would say like as a character or something, it's been the complete opposite. I've always just shared whatever I've had and stuff like that, and that's why it's kind of painful and it's come as a shock, because suddenly it's here where I just feel like I don't want to share anything, and I'm super looking and checking my things to make sure, like, is it still, and then like, but it's, of course, it's always one way, like it's always like what the mind is presenting is only for me and not for anybody else, and it's been going on for a while, and I don't know why I've not exposed it. I guess because it's felt so stupid, but at the same time, like, I'm looking at it now, and I have to admit that it feels very real when it happens, and it's only afterwards when I kind of go like, oh my god, what was that about? And there's definitely less resistance now to go in and just apologise, you know, go in and just say, oh, here you go, have this, or something like that. But it's like I can see that I can't just blame the mind and say, oh, it's the mind and it's this, because actually something is really like going with it, and if of course if I wasn't enjoying it on some level, I wouldn't be doing it. And so I just really want to ask for your help, because it feels like in doing that I'm pushing people away.
Yes. So first thing to do with all of these, to not, the first one is getting you anyway. The guilt one, you see, I'm being a bad person, I'm being so selfish, all of this forget about. So because that is not helpful in getting rid of the first one, it's actually energizing it. The mind is celebrating, yes, 1-2 combo, good. So just see that we can say that, yes, I was making tea and Hari came into the kitchen and I felt possessive over my tea and I said, I'm just going to have this right now, please, if you don't mind, or something. It just happened like that, you see. And when you watch it like that, you see that it just, in that moment, something played out in this way. You see? So you bought yourself to be the owner of the tea. Now at least don't buy the one that is guilty of being selfish. You see? So make that lighter first. And now that you've exposed it also, it becomes easier. You see? Because then they know that, oh, glad for you, so they're not resenting you about it. So it is allowed. Second is that, you see, these things, they survive stronger in sunlight. You see? So it is said that sunshine is the best disinfectant. In the same way, now that you've exposed it, and you said this is what is happening here, you've exposed not only your own light on it, but in the light of satsang, you will find that as you brought your looking into this, you will find that in itself it will get lighter and lighter. You see, if you're not falling for that guilt or selfishness or regret ideas, you see, there's something just shines on this independent. What is it that wants to hold on to other things? What is it? Where is it coming from? Is there a sense of lack, or is there a sense of being made up of my possessions, or what is it? The light will shine brighter on these inquiries, these questions, and it will not become stronger. It will get lighter and lighter. You see? So, firstly, don't be guilty. Don't regret. Don't say, "Oh, I'm so selfish." Don't put any labels to yourself because this has happened. You see, then all this muck is at least kept aside. Then it becomes just like this. So when the moment comes that again, you were making a chocolate cake or something and you wanted the whole thing for yourself, you see, and somebody comes in and is looking at it, you see? Then as that happened, and you're not falling into the trap of guilt and all of that, you're just looking. So what happened there? Was it a sense of need that I have? Was it a sense of not wanting to be exploited? Do I feel a sense of lack if my possessions are taken away? What is it that I'm most scared to lose?
It's like so something that's definitely there is this like exploitation, I guess. But it's more that somebody is
you can say it. It's okay. You can say it, yes?
Somebody
what, freeloading?
Satsang friendly too.
Somebody's
like
freeloading?
Do you know what taking the mickey means?
Taking the mickey? Oh, I felt it just meant like making a fool of you.
No, it's kind of like being taken advantage of and being that somebody's just basically bouncing around on their own rhythm and not being like respectful or considerate. And so it feels like
being around Sangha members.
And so then this defensiveness comes, and yeah, that's what it is. And so then what's been like the tendency recently has been just to want to just retreat, so just to like go in my room and shut the door. But I can see that that's not going to solve anything.
And when we look and see who is it that can be taken advantage of?
Exactly.
There's nobody.
There's nobody. There's nothing.
So,
but what happens is that when it happens, it's like this somehow this sense of a constriction's there, and then the voice starts, and it's just going like it's got it knows every button, and it's just going like bing, 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 bing. And it's just basically oh and this and remember that and such and such and such, and it's like it's hypnotic in a way, and I go into it. And I believe it somehow, and then or even when somehow I can see like, hang on a minute, who, and is that really the case? But still something's kind of like still got its claws in, and it feels like that thing is me. Like I can't. I feel like I have to take some responsibility for it, because I do feel like I am enjoying it on some level. Some kind of weird.
Who is enjoying? Who is taking responsibility? See, these are very subtle things that the mind can sell us. Yeah, and that is also the two punch of the two combo. Yeah? So it can be either pride or guilt.
Maybe what I mean is like this, sometimes that Advaita one that will go like, oh no, it's not me, and so therefore I don't even have to look at it, or some, like that kind of insincerity, like
the fake niceness.
Yeah, I can't run with that anymore. Like that's not gonna do anything. That's useless. So now I'm looking like more kind of and there is a helplessness, like there's and look.
So the interaction that happens when you're in the process of making your tea is not what we are trying to fix here, because that can flow still. You could be a sage and you can tell somebody, don't look at my tea, okay? Or you can just very clear like that. You see, you can buy stuff alone. You see, it can flow like that. But what we're really looking at is first the byproducts of all of this side play that this is happening with you. That maybe yes, I want to be like that. I'm enjoying that play, or the guilt play, or the selfish one. Look at all of that, and to see whether at the root of this manifesting there's a sense of need or lack or victimization or exploitation, which is all just mental, you see. So once all that is thrown away, or most of that is thrown away, then it doesn't matter.
There's definitely, like, in the bigger picture, there is something like uncaring life, and it's like a kind of okay. But also, like, I don't have a job, and I've obviously got Gracie in England who's missing me a lot, and I am just kind of feeling a little bit like, oh, what's like, and almost as though it feels sometimes like all of that sense of like responsibility for this life and all of that sense of like how things should be has been taken away.
Yeah.
And long time, I guess, and I think something's scared. I do sometimes feel like.
And responsibility was believed you did a very good job.
No, I mean, I wasn't happy at all.
So, because the mind tells you these stories and gives you only part of the story.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you might be happy now, but
completely irresponsible now. Now, what about, you see, these things? And then when I had all of those things, was I behaving much better? Then you see that the mind can sell us all of these stories, but the question, who am I, cannot really fall for any of these traps, you see. And as our direct seeing, as our satsang is meeting the rest of our life also, there's bound to be some friction, something where it seems like the rubber is hitting the road, you see. There can be, but you'll find that it becomes more and more natural. And here, of course, you know that we don't have any rules. I'm not saying you have to, always just be here or something. Time to go meet your daughter. You'll find yourself booking the ticket. You'll find yourself coming back. Oh, it's allowed very organically. So no buying tickets to any merry-go-round. Because basically why? Because at the root of it, that if I just leave everything to God, You see, he's going to he's going to make a big mess out of it. Two, I'm now a very terrible, irresponsible, lazy person. You see, so all of these sticky things come with our sense of doership. You see? And as we let go, then you find that without this burden of doership, it is not that doing stops. You see? It is the being responsible, irresponsible, what are others thinking of me, am I being this way or that way, that drops away more and more. And you know that this consciousness which is being allowed to run our life has always been the one that has been running our life. Without the sense of, with a lot less sense of pride and guilt. So it's an intertwining of various things. You see? The sense of something can be taken away from me, you see? Or I have to hold on something, otherwise it goes away from me. This kind of sense. Then the sense of how am I behaving? Am I being selfish or responsible or irresponsible? Then there can be a sense of yes, yes, but I'm justified. You see? I'm feeling like some power when I'm you see, blocking others from touching my stuff. You see? That we can look at all of these, which doesn't mean that our actions at the end of it, and especially when you say that it seems like a deeply hypnotic state, so we cannot do anything there. But at least now coming to satsang, we see that when the hypnotism doesn't seem as strong, then we can see what are the concepts I'm picking up and lighten those. As we lighten those, then even the hypnosis will seem lighter and lighter and lighter. Is like that. That's why we've been focusing so much on that, because I can say that for all of you, you had very direct recognition about who you are, isn't it? It's like when we speak about awareness and consciousness, as if we are speaking about some mental concept. It is directly verifiable, isn't it? Now, all of this prior conditioning will come to play, sometimes in a bigger way also, as this recognition is happening. So allow it to also come and go. And what you did now is very useful also to be able to expose it. Because it's not easy, because your roommate's also here and you come and say...
And I'm really sorry, I feel like my attention just keeps like diving off into imagination, and
it's okay.
Yeah, like I just feel like I'm not fully with
you. It'll become lighter and lighter. So, and the good thing is we record all of this anyway. So. There is no escape.
Is it?
We should actually do that, you know. We had discussed once, Zia had come up with an idea that anyone who comes up with a question then has to go back and transcribe the interaction. At least in that way we ensure that the sitting here you feel like you'll just get some snippets of what I'm saying, and it might seem like I'm saying ABC. Actually I might be saying just the opposite. So that might be a good thing, especially for those who've been in satsang for some time. You can say, okay, if you have a question, now have a real question, and let it be real enough that you're willing to put some effort to transcribe the answer also. That's good. Then you'll find that you know also that you have to transcribe this later, maybe some more attention will stay. One of the biggest things that pulls our attention away is, okay, how am I going to respond? Or what am I going to say next? And that play also will become lighter, because you'll see that just the words will come. You don't have to work towards what you're going to say next. The exchange will become a lot more spontaneous. This is very good. And that's why I've been saying that the recognition is very vital, very important, but with the help of the pointings which are being shared here, I feel that all of you are coming to that recognition, but that doesn't mean that the recognition itself is liberation, you see. Also, the allowing of all of this conditioning to come out, to be released, to not give value to these things, not to give, especially to our guilt about these things. That is very important also. And there is no 100% end to conditioning. Because jokingly, I used to say 99.986% is enough. And like you said, many things that we forget, we don't, like when you switched off or made that fan slower, then I realized how much noise it was making. So things are coming up now which, because your sensitivity is increasing, you're finding. Otherwise, very quickly we go into our justifications and say, yes, I was completely justified in doing what I did and things like this. Here, we are at least starting to look. And very, very importantly, you said something very good, which is we drop our fake spiritual personas also. Because sometimes we can play like we're in satsang, so I have to be nice. So all that dropping also is very authentic. You see? So we don't have to purposely or forcefully make ourselves share or forcefully make ourselves love others. It's not like that. It's much more natural. And I just I don't feel to share right now. Sometimes satsang can be for them also. A lot of things, I'm sure it's not in any interaction, it always gives both sides something to look at, isn't it? So it is some satsang for your roommates also. Do you recall any of these incidents like this about tea or say to the mic?
Certainly not even. I even don't know. Father, but means like uh, I feel like me, Adam, and Dave can sit down with you sometime and discuss, because a lot of time it's like somehow to how I defend myself. Sometimes that reaction comes and
Yeah.
it's like
Like what? Example?
in a sense means it's completely my own judgment and opinion. Like I really admire things happen, like last time when it happened, and then we had strong discussion, and thereafter I was like with that protective self, and I like let me now I will just go in my room, come out, and I will just somehow I have to save myself. And that feeling came. So then he just opened up, like I saw, and it's beautiful, and we discussed for an hour, and then we sat down there. So it's very beautiful, but on the same time, it's my judgment. I feel it like maybe there will be certain things which on my part which other can show, which I'm not able to see. But I feel like it's like after few days also that you don't know why it happening. Means you just absolutely have no clue about why it happening, and then even sorry to say, but even you discuss at like neutral level, that doesn't for register, then resistance come from other side.
Yeah.
And like until unless it go to certain level, you can't, and it's small and energetically you feel, means, and you just sometimes you just don't feel comfortable without, and it's like how you react on that. It's like their strong sense comes sometimes. It's like I don't sign up for that, why I'm just getting into this. So yeah.
This is very good what you all are sharing, because it's very easy
Yeah.
to be liberated when you're living in a cave. You see, that's why I've never suggested you should go into some quiet place. Sometimes it's good for the recognition But to expose conditioning to come face to face with it, to get rid of it, it's very good that we remain in our day-to-day interactions, we interact with people. You see? So you're finding that if you you came to satsang, went back to your cave where food was served to you, and you came here, very quickly you would feel like you're just liberated. But when you interact with others, like it is said, no, if you feel you're enlightened, spend a weekend with your family. So just like that, with roommates, I know it's not easy to share a house and things.
So, but Father, how I should means what should be, because like it's after that it was like few days was, then again it's kind of building up, because somehow I can sense that certain things and all that, and it's just again means that, and it so not really sure how what I do in that situation.
Yes. You see, there is a certain naturalness to the play of it. Even if in the naturalness means if it's some strong words are coming out, you see, it's fine. What you have to do is inquire into what you're believing about yourself, you see, or surrender any concept that you have about yourself. You see? So although it can seem like two things, actually it is one. So don't go into the interaction as if you are a person. You see, more and more it will become lighter and lighter, and your interactions will come from this all from a place of neutrality. Now neutrality doesn't mean goody goody. You see, neutrality doesn't mean goody goody. Neutrality just means that I'm not buying any concept about myself, and yet what is flowing to flow. There's nothing that can be done about it anyway, isn't it? So either it can be that, like Adam was saying, that in those moments, very strong belief systems and so-called value systems come into play, and we are so caught up in that is happening anyway. So what to do in those situations? At least don't be guilty, don't be prideful. These second level things can be dropped. If you feel like the hypnosis is not that strong and there is a choice of how to behave, then see if you can approach the situation from a place of emptiness, from a place of neutrality, and to allow natural action to come. You see, even in relationships, if you're not holding on to how I want to be seen, what the other one should think of me and things, then very strong seeming things can be seemingly said from the mouth, but you'll find that they're auspicious, they're full of grace. You see what I'm saying? When the situation is happening, then either you're so caught up in your beliefs that there's nothing you can do about it. So if that is happening, then it's happening anyway. So at least what we can do is not buy the thoughts about pride or guilt about it later when the situation is over. You see, if there's a sense of this space where you can feel like you can decide how to respond, then respond from a place of neutrality. You see, which doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be only nice, goody goody.
But for the like
Thank you.
uh, sometimes feel like until unless it reaches to certain threshold, it's just energetically you feel and you can sense that what it, and that reaction is like very small to discuss, because if I discuss, I feel it is again completely my judgment. It's like defensiveness come from other side, and it's like, oh, this point is right, and then it's until unless it reaches to certain threshold level, you can't sit down and discuss on that.
Yeah.
So it start building up,
Yes.
and that
That is so. That's another indicator that if there's a fear to share certain things, if there's a feeling that, oh, I say, then you're not having a auspicious relationship. You see, auspicious relationship means there is openness for both speaking and of listening. So why does it have to come if you're finding something which is troubling you? Why does it have to come to a certain threshold of it being overdone, when that is the time where most overreactions can also happen, isn't it? Why, if something is just coming, like he did something that you did not like, you see, why is it that you're not able to say it? Is it out of some fear or wanting to be nice?
It's more of from a fear, means like reaction. You
Yes, yes.
assume what
Yes,
kind
but
of
what happens
reaction
is
will
you
come.
repress these things, you bottle them up, and that threshold which you're talking about is the explosion threshold. It's that, after that you just, because it's not going anywhere, it's just building on, building on. You see, so when something happens, either something that bothers you, and this is good for all kind of partners, roommates, and relationships. Where something, do we have the freedom in our relationship to be able to communicate openly? You see, share and listen. Both aspects are important. You see, some want to communicate openly, means I should be able to talk. You see, the other one should just listen. But when it comes on the other side, we become blocked. So, is there this open exchange possible in a relationship when something is bothering us, so that I don't have to, or I don't have to bottle it up? So, what is it? What is the fear? What can he do? Does he know kung fu?
No, it's like means I have like it's my belief and assumption about thing. Until unless it been strongly pointed out to person try to defend that point. So it's no point of discussing at that moment until and it's like it coming that defensive, and that discussion will not lead to any conclusion.
So, also hidden under that could be like a sense of fear of confrontation. You see. And maybe so, and I really used to have a very severe version of this. You see. So what would happen here is that, even let me take an example. If I'm going in a cab to Thiru, you see, and I'm feeling hot, but the guy is not increasing the temperature of the cab. I told him once or twice, he's not doing it. I used to be so timid at one point that I would just grin and bear it, Like, but now that is a lot less. It's, uh, it's very natural. I'm feeling something, the expression is there with no block. And so what if the other one is defense? You see? Yeah, timidness, no? Yeah. So feel like, you see? So that's why when Guruji said that spirituality doesn't mean like you become sheep. It's not a assertion to make you like aggressive or something. That we don't have to cower down to anything, you see? Because till you bring it to the attention of another, they will not. Many times they have not looked at it like that. You see, so suppose you said something and there was only defensiveness that you got in return. You see, but at least you are not holding that resentment inside. At least you know that you said it out. And just because the reaction is defensiveness doesn't mean it has to be the end of the conversation. You see? So it should be there should be an ability in a relationship to be able to say that, okay, this is what you're feeling, but this is the way it appears to me. So can we talk about it more? Yeah. So that should become possible, and as you become more and more open to this kind of communication, then the relationship becomes easier. So one don't predict the reaction, and even if that particular reaction does come, doesn't mean it has to be the end of it. Is it? So you said, but why do you leave the plates in the sink? You see? And someone says, but what's your problem? I do them once a day. I know my schedule, right? And then you can, but and usually from what you're saying, it's seeming like that is the end of the discussion. You see, but it doesn't have to be like that. You say, but won't it be better if it is done this way? This is my perception about it, and people can sense when you are yourself also coming from a place of openness. You see, so it cannot be that my perspective is the gospel truth, and whatever you are saying against that is just some sort of defensiveness. Both of you drop your defenses, or whoever is in this situation, drop your defenses and just talk. You see, just sharing of this thing without the sense of being attacked, because it is in these situations which can seem like we're talking about something very mundane in satsang, but it's very important because this is the crux of relationships. You see, openness. Otherwise, they become like cages very fast. That's why I was saying that. Okay, I should not take names in the broadcast. Maybe later I tell you. You see. Give him the mic.
So here the personality has been majorly like this,
Right.
introvertish and
Yeah.
fearful and all of that. I had this experience about a couple of years ago, and where for the first time I was having some little argument with my father, and it became a little serious, and
Yeah.
I shouted on my father for the
Yes.
first time.
First time.
And it didn't bother my father much.
Yeah.
Although inside something went, what did you just do?
Yeah.
But there was this huge sense of peace after that.
Peace,
Huge
relief.
sense. I haven't felt that peace
Yes,
ever before
yes.
or after.
Yes.
So it's
We're
some
not encouraging anyone else. But I know what you mean. I know what you
blocked
mean.
inside,
Yes,
and
yes.
I don't know from when.
It's like this. Because all these things have constricted us, you see, and have prevented us seemingly from having authentic relationships. Is it all this satsang is going to touch every aspect of your life and going to shine light on every aspect of it, and you'll see some great, even in strong situations like this. It's like, okay, there are lots of cues, no? Anil has been wanting to come for some time. I wonder if his question still has fire. He says, I'm too pent up, so it might have too much. Might even just turn the computer to the other side.
Father, can I come for 2 minutes?
You can comment.
Surrender
I was
is
giving
very
anger some. I was giving anger some time to settle down.
See, what to do? I mean, it's my nature actually. It is very much embedded, and this energy is not being released. You know, out of like some expectations, whether I'm supposed to, hold this anger and allow this to release, because the tendency has always been to shout at others, to blame others. You know, I mean, it has been always like this whole life. It will take time to really release this. Where I'm stuck is that, first of all, it is very difficult to 100% surrender. That I have seen. It is like even surrendering the decision of to take sedative or not take sedative, because there is no answer. There is no answer from Guruji. How do I know what is his answer? That is one confusion, big confusion. And second, so we can talk about it, and then I'll talk about the second question. Very, very short questions.
There you go.
I'm sorry, we are already 3 hours plus. I'm sorry, we
No,
are
it's
already
okay.
3
It's
hours
okay.
plus.
It's okay. I'm just waiting for this water to be swallowed properly. How do we know what is my master's will? Is at the root of surrender, isn't it? So what is happening when we are surrendering? All that is happening is we are taking the pretend decision maker out of the picture. Now it can be an idea that we have that based on my believing a particular thought, I would have taken or not taken a particular action. But even scientists have disproved that now. You see, where they have seen that the movement of the nerves towards that action happening happens a millisecond or something before the actual even thought of that decision comes. It's preparing for that particular action even before the seeming decision has been taken or not. So what does this prove? That everything is moving by the divine will or the force of consciousness, whatever you call it, by the Sadguru's grace. Anyway, you see, this mental psychological suffering is because we have presumed where we have not done anything at all. We have presumed ourselves to be the decision makers where no decision is meant to be taken. It is just a fallacy. Now, the fallacy is propped up just in the sense of there's a term in Latin, post hoc ergo propter hoc, which means that just because something precedes something, it is mistakenly taken to be the cause of that which it. We have mistakenly taken this thought and belief to be the cause of our actions. It is not. There is only one cause, which is consciousness itself. And we have verified this, even science is verifying this. So, this surrender only means that I am going to get this presumed idea of me out of the picture and allow my life to be a lot more spontaneous. I am not going to pretend anymore that I can decide. I am not going to pretend anymore that I know what is good for me. And I am not going to pretend anymore about which direction my life should take. You see? All of us have had experiences where we've decided something and done the opposite of that. You see? And we have done many things that we never decided to do. So it's pretty clear that another force is moving this. It's just a bad habit of making ourselves guilty or proud of the actions that we are taking. So this presumed decision making is all that is being dropped in our surrender. So I would like to submit that surrender is not actually difficult. It is what is already happening. You see, what is difficult is for us to drop our belief in thoughts because our habit has become so strong to believe them. And doership thoughts seem to be the most active for many of us. As you are coming to satsang, as you are saying that, okay, whenever there is a sense of choice, I'm handing it over to my master's feet. It cannot be that this auspiciousness will go empty-handed, you see. You will find your surrender to become lighter and lighter, and one day you will say that I was always surrendered. Why did Ananta tell me to surrender? I was always surrendered. This will happen if it is done with pure openness, with the innocence of a child. You will say that there was no surrender even needed here, because surrender is my naturalness. So don't buy the idea that surrender is difficult. What is only the Sadguru's grace. Way, the presumed doer out of the way.
Father, what is happening here is that I'm taking the decisions as per my will, my wish, the way I want, and then I'm surrendering this to Guruji. This is what is happening actually.
Yeah, so that is half surrender. You see, so that is half surrender.
Yes.
We talked about it. You read the transcript, isn't it? We talked about it the other day also. So that is also very common. It happens, but stop even doing that, or it will become lesser and lesser that we do that. How do we know what is the best decision for me? We don't know.
Yeah, Father, it is fine. For example, out of the anxiety today, I am not going to the doctor. I'm supposed to go. Now, because there is too much resistance. I'm not able to go. Now, should I accept it that today I was not able to go, but I'm supposed to go? Then what to do in such a case? Just surrender both the options to Guru.
Yes.
So then my mood will never be to go out. I will just be in this so-called laziness and this anxiety if I'm
But
not doing anything.
how you know how do you know that Guru chose the option not to go?
Whether it is like this, when either it is a 100% surrender, or there is nothing like half surrender, quarter surrender, all this thing. Either there is either there is a 100% surrender, or there is no surrender.
Yes.
Let us make it binary actually. So
Yes.
when it is full surrender, then that means that whatever happens basically, whether it is the mind which is working, whether it is the emotions which are working, whether it is my choice, father's choice, guru's choice, or whether there is a confusion, no confusion, clarity, the identity, identifying, then it has to be 100% surrender without any giving a thought to it. Then everything is spontaneous. Then I cannot say no, no, no. See, I have surrendered, but I'm not supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do this. I'm not supposed to. Then it is 100%. Then it is not my responsibility. Then it is not my escape as such. Then I'm total 100% awareness, neutral awareness. Then I will not get into the dynamics of the. I will only get into the I amness, pure I amness, because through which I know I am. But I will not get into more than I am. Then whatever this body is doing, mind is doing, identification, consciousness, whatever it is doing, let it do then. Then I will not put my discretion into this. Look, this I am not supposed to do, this I am supposed to do, this is virtuous, this is not virtuous. Then whatever is my nature, if it is angry nature, let it be angry nature. If I kill somebody, let the body suffer because I have killed somebody. Then I will not constrict myself. It is difficult to put the legs in both the boats.
Yes, yes. Don't put the legs in both boats. You let the Guru drive the boats. You just become a passenger. You see? Now, this surrender doesn't go with the presumption of what is going to happen. You see, because I feel that these two presumptions which are there when we talk about non-doership, both these presumptions came out in what you just said. The first presumption was that, but if I'm not the doer, that means I can just go around and kill people and, so that is not my doing, then my Guru should be blamed for that. It's not my fault. You see, that is the first one. The second is that, but then if I don't have any choice in the matter, then I can be the most lazy, vegetative one who can just lie in bed all day. This fear of passivity, you see. So you will find authentic, and you're really leaving choice making and the movement of your body to the Sadguru. You will find that nobody who has surrendered to the Sadguru has killed anyone. You see, and nobody who is lying forever on their bed in a vegetative state.
But it is much easier to inquire actually, because then you see the whole picture. I mean, within a minute, I can take that position of the awareness and then see myself, you know, engaged in the whole game. But not doing the inquiry and totally surrendering is not working out.
I feel it is working. You feel it is not working. You feel the inquiry is working, but I can see the inquiry is not working. And in what you said itself, it is clear that it is not working, because you say that when I inquire, in a minute, I can take the position of being awareness. You see, so you're carrying the I in your backpack. That is why the inquiry is not working.
Yes, I understand what you are saying. I will have just one last question, Father.
Yes.
The thing is, one way we say that all is happening on its own. The consciousness is taking care of everything. Actually, even you are
Yes.
giving I mean, this science example also, like something like few seconds before, all that stuff which has been appearing in the newspapers
Yeah.
and everywhere. The thing is, if I as an awareness and same as I am pure being, and if this consciousness is taking care of everything, then it is me only, which is taking care of everything. I mean, how is it that, I am the pure being, okay, I have an experience of the pure being, and I am not even awareness. I mean, it is just a recognition of I am, not really words. This is possible, but then a thought comes when you are everything and nothing, then how can you say that, God is taking care of everything? It is all happening on its own. This is a big confusion actually. If I am everything and nothing also, then why should I have a need to surrender to that supreme being who is doing everything? And then at the same time, I say I am that also. It's a very big confusion.
Yeah. Inquire to you. It is not that those who have surrendered will be left away from Gyan, you see. Gyan will be your prasad. All these insights will come, it will become completely clear. But I've already seen that the way inquiry works in your case, it becomes like this. It becomes like this. So better to drop it. What you're suffering from is what everyone is suffering from is only their sense themselves to be personal. That is being dropped in your surrender, and that is why your mind is resisting it very, very strongly and saying, no, no, it's not working. Inquiry is easier. Do the inquiry. You see, because it finds a hold over there. It finds conclusions. It finds justifications. It finds things to debate. It finds things to say. It finds some maybe sense of satisfaction in all of that. You see. So here we are depriving it from that all this oxygen. You see, and it is not liking that. But I can sense by looking at your face that of course it is working. I can sense by your gaze that it is working. You see? So you will not convince me that surrender is not working and I should pull you back to inquiry.
Yes, Father, that is seen actually. That is seen. It is very much seen here. It has no escape. In surrender, it doesn't have any escape. I can see that.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very,
Thank you so
very
much,
good.
Father.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very, very grateful. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 3.5. You know how much trouble I got into that day because I left the satsang call at 4 o'clock. I had somebody waiting at my office for 2 hours. So good, you have this alarm clock, no? So 2.5, and every half an hour after that. Yeah. Whenever you find a pause, you can tell me. Yeah. And then 2. Like, peace, brother. Thank you all so very much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Muji Ji ki Jai. Thank you, Claire, my dear, for moderating. We can end the broadcast now.